Lanny Davis, why did your client change his tune and start speaking out against Donald Trump?
Well, it took a while for him to recognize the danger that Donald Trump represented to the country once he became president. When he finally called me, he did so only after he made up his mind to turn the page or reset button, whatever the metaphor is, and start telling the truth about Donald Trump. And that's why when he first spoke to me, he had to convince me that he had changed. He'd done a lot of activity for Mr. Trump over the years that he wasn't proud of, and now he decided he was going to tell the truth.
So you're prepared for the kind of criticism that we're hearing from Corey Lewandowski, for example?
Lewandowski.
Well, Corey Lewandowski, who has been speaking to us and saying, look, this man has changed his story so many times, we can't believe anything he says. Rudy Giuliani saying similar things. Donald Trump saying anyone who was thinking about Michael Cohen as a lawyer should get a new lawyer.
So forgive me that anything Corey Lewandowski says I do not take seriously and don't dignify by responding to. But when we have Donald Trump, whose lies are literally categorized every day, and then Rudy Giuliani, who tells the world that truth isn't truth, and now we have today the President of the United States getting the law wrong when he says, well, if it's campaign funds, that's dicey, but if it's personal funds, that's okay, which is false as a matter of law.
Let's get into that. Tell me. So that is his, it seems, emerging as his main defense, that these funds came out of his personal money. It was a personal arrangement between himself and Michael Cohen. It had nothing to do with the campaign. So initially he says he was worried when he heard about the payments, not having known about them before, but when he realized that they were his payments, not the campaign's payments, then he thought he was home safe. He thinks he's done nothing wrong.
I know your viewers are going to be shocked when I say that Donald Trump doesn't speak the truth. He doesn't know when he lies, and when he's lying and he knows he's lying, he doesn't care. He's speaking falsely about the law. The law makes no distinction between campaign funds made for the purposes of affecting election or personal funds. It's illegal, it's a felony, and the U.S. government, through the U.S. Attorney's Office and Mr. Cohen, called the President of the United States a felon yesterday in federal court. My client, Mr. Cohen, said it under oath. Mr. Trump refuses to be put under oath. The question is, why? Maybe he's afraid of lying under oath, except Rudy Giuliani says there's no such thing as truth.
So explain to me then, it does seem to be an air gap between what your client said in court yesterday and what the prosecution case is, in the sense that your client said, I was directed by Donald Trump to make these payments, whereas the prosecution case is that there was a coordination between the candidate and Michael Cohen.
The words were actually in one sentence. Excuse me for correcting you.
No, please do.
It was coordination and direction. The words were in the same sentence, and the prosecutors had to agree to those words before Michael Cohen, under oath, said them to the judge. So this is a collaborative document, and coordination and direction really doesn't matter. It's that Donald Trump knew, approved, and directed the payment of an illegal contribution. For what purpose? To keep somebody quiet who was a woman that he didn't want to have an adverse effect on his election chances. That's called a felony.
So what happens to your client now? Is he talking to Robert Mueller? Is he going to talk to Robert Mueller? Would that potentially benefit him in terms of length of sentence? Presumably it would.
As of now, it won't benefit him at all. He's accepted the sentence guidelines as what will happen to him. There's a range of years that he will have to serve. Whether he will or won't talk to Mr. Mueller, I can't answer your question directly, but you can infer when I say that he will be ready to tell the truth about Donald Trump and what he knows to anyone who asks him. So that would include Mr. Mueller, a congressional committee, any prosecutor.
I mean, you paint his motivations as very virtuous, but presumably he also doesn't want to spend a very long time in prison. That's part of the reason why he's cooperated, isn't it?
Well, I agree with you. He doesn't want to spend, he has a wife and 2 children, and they're devastated, and he's gone through a very difficult time, but he made the decision to plead guilty, resisting, of course, but asked for no bargain. And now that he is committed to telling the truth, he has nothing to look forward to other than going to prison.
Okay. Lanny Davis, thank you very much for